Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello and welcome to episode 432 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Going to be live hacking on some Firefox stuff today. Let's see where we get to. Bingo bango. Let's drop right into it. Yeah, today is March 11th, 2026, episode 432. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I kind of laid out a little roadmap here, but who knows what'll happen. We might get stuck on this part, or the stream might just fall apart as I'm doing it. That could happen too, and we'll just deal with it as it comes. The second thing is that this agenda that we're looking at is available to you. Depending on where you're watching this, it'll be in a different position. If you're watching this on YouTube, a link to it will be in the video description. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, it'll be over there in the details section. If you're watching this on Twitch, it's down in the channel details. And as I update the agenda, if I add new text or whatnot, this little spinny will spin, and you should, if you reload the agenda, get the most up-to-date version. And if you're watching the recording, you have the most up-to-date version. I don't tend to update agendas after I'm done an episode. So that's it. Also, we have an episode guide. I want to highlight that. We have an episode guide. It's a little out of date, and I'm hoping to deal with that today. Thank you so much to Smurf D, who has contributed a number of pull requests to the episode guide. We're going to be going through those today. It's been a little while. I think there are no 2026 episodes yet in the episode guide. We should probably get those in the can right away. So let's do that. Also, I have a quick update on the project that we did at the end of the year in 2025, the little sort of side thing about adding a little search engine. I can talk a little bit about that. Also, I can talk about the search engine thing, local search engine. Okay, so that's that. Let's get right into it. So today is episode 432. I looked, there is no HTTP error code 432 in the standard. There is certain, and the reason I bring this up is because if you've been watching any of the previous episodes, I try and map the current episode number to an HTTP error code, and in this case there is no official 432 error code. Some servers may use this error code to do something. I've found a couple of examples just kind of searching around on the internet, but there's nothing official. So no Keanu code this week, I'm afraid. And we might not have a Keanu code for a while. If we take a look at keanu.codes, the service is unavailable. Hey, pop quiz. What's that HTTP error code for service unavailable? Let's see. 503. We got a 503. Okay, well, it was up earlier today, but it's down right now. But if we look at the list of HTTP error codes, here we have the Wikipedia article. There's a big break. We might not get another one until 451, and then that's it. And then we could probably stop until we reach episode 500, which might happen at the beginning of next year. Someone do the math. Tell me how close I am. If I don't miss too many more, let's say I miss 4 more episodes this year, how long until I get to episode 500? You do the math. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat, and we can put a prediction together. Maybe we can start a little ideation brainstorm for what I should do for episode 500. But we're not there yet. We're still in 432. Okay, so that's the error code. Let's get the episode guide up to date. Let's do that. So it's been a while since I've hacked on the episode guide. Let's go ahead and take a look. Am I using JJ with this? Here, let me pump up the font as well. Here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to go JJ git fetch to get the most up-to-date stuff. There's nothing that's changed. And then I'm actually going to look at the GitHub repository. Mike Conley, Joy of Coding, episode guide. And we have 8 pull requests. Woo! Some of them are from Dependabot. I don't super care about those. These ones I do care about. Some of these are going back in the day. I haven't looked at these. This was contributed back in October. I've really been missing the jump here. I haven't been doing my job reviewing these. I apologize. Smurfy, thank you so much for getting these in. Let's get these reviewed. Okay, so whenever I review the episode guide, if you've never seen me do this, it's pretty like lightweight. I'm not doing like a deep read. I just make sure that the dates line up, that the links look okay, and then we can just kind of go through memory lane to see what it is that I covered. So we're gonna do that right now. I'll try and make it quick. Here goes. So back in July of 2025, July 30th, that was episode 411. That's correct. 411, July 30th, 2025. And that is the correct short URL. And that looks like the right agenda link. The topics I covered, I was still doing the Keanu codes for 411. Let's see if the image works, actually. I'm very curious to know if the image uploaded properly. It did. There is an image there. Let's see what it is. That's right. That's from Bill and Ted. And then we were talking about fixing the Moz cached OHTTP protocol. Oh, okay. Back then, we were talking about Oblivious HTTP and the Moz cached OHTTP protocol, and we were talking about a test case. Great. Okay, this looks great to me. Let's move on. The episode afterwards, 412, was August 6th. That looks right. August 6th, 412. This is back when I wanted to update the episode guide, and I guess maybe I did it back in August of last year. And I was talking about how there are a lot of permalinks broken. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I have been working with the gang on Air Mozilla to try and get those sorted, but it's not the top priority for them right now, which is understandable. Apparently someone streamed themselves working on Firefox Profiler things. I was giving advice for people to start live hacking, and then we worked on another bug. Okay. And then August 13th was episode 413. That's right. Let's see here. I was talking about widgets. Let's work on a utility for generating the JSON recipe. Right, for train hopping, which that is in use now. You can use that right now if you're doing a train hop, which I don't think many people watching this call are, but that tool works. And then on August 20th, that was episode 414. Yep. Alt text, we were talking about 414 URI too long, and the train hop readiness tool, which I have installed here, and you can kind of we've still been using it to sort of evaluate the readiness to do new tab train hopping. We'd started our design a little bit here, yeah, it works. It works, and so we were working on that. I got rid of the JQ web part of it. If you're curious to know what it looks like, by the way, it's on GitHub. New tab train hop station is what it's called. If you're curious, that's here. It doesn't. I patched it a couple of weeks ago to stop using the JQ tool and to just do normal JSON parsing, because the endpoint we were touching wasn't actually doing much with JQ, and so it didn't seem to make sense to package the JQ web library with this extension. It saved us a lot of it saved us some needless packaging and complexity, so that's good. Episode 415, that was August 27th. Correct. And let's see, what did we do? We were talking about sections. We had turned on sections in the US. Oh, memories. Talked about widgets and a toolbar bug that was kind of nasty, and then we kept working on the train hopping tool. Okay, cool. And then 416 was September 24th. Wow, big jump there. I guess I'd taken vacation, but that was episode 416. And then, and then I was doing some to-dos on some stuff on more of the train hop tool. Because we didn't, and here I'm like, let's use JQ Web, and we didn't need to. And then episode 417 was October 1st, and that looks good. We kept working on the tool. We started using the JQ Web library. So I was still working on getting the first version of the extension done. That all looks great. I'm going to say that this is good to go. Thank you. I like it. Submit review. I know it's not fully necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and merge that pull request in. Thank you, Smurf D. And the next pull request comes from our good friend, Smurf D. So let's look at episodes 418 all the way to 421. Oh, new episodes. Episode 419 is not available on YouTube. Also, could you please update your Mastodon links on GitHub in the agenda to not point to your old? Update your Mastodon links on GitHub in the agenda. GitHub, Mastodon links. I have Mastodon links? Do I? Where? Let's see here. Do I have Mastodon links on here? Maybe on some of the old agendas. Maybe like if I look back at 2024. Matrix. Monitor. When would I have had a Mastodon link? What are you referring to? Is it something more recent? Agenda. Do I? Let me see here. Let me see here. Hold on a second. What are you saying? What are you saying, Smurf D? Could you please update your Mastodon links on GitHub? Do I have something listed here? GitHub. Is it like in my profile? Is it who I appear to be? Oh, so it is. Okay, yeah. Let me update that. So I am at that address now. Save. That's me. And then what else? GitHub and the agenda. Did I have it? Do I have it in the agenda? Oh, so I do, under feedback. Oh, man. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and update today's instance. Good call. Good call, Smurf D. We're going to go ahead and update it to the proper address. I'm going to update my template. Templates. Wow, it's been a while. And I should update that as well. And while I'm here, I'm also going to get rid of how M. Connolly uses Mercurial, because I don't use Mercurial anymore. And I think that's it. I don't use Twitter anymore. And okay, so that'll do for now. And then under live coding up here, I'm gonna update this text to be, M. Connolly at Fosstodon. Was it Fosstodon.org? There we go. And I'm not on Twitter anymore. I guess my account's still there, but I don't use it. How M. Connolly uses JJ when? Great question. Should I write one? Let me know in the comments if or go ahead and let me know if that would be interesting to you. A document on how I use JJ. Jiu-jitsu. Okay, so thank you for the highlight there, Smurf D. Let's keep digging. So, in October, on October 29th, was episode 418. And I was traveling, and I showed split view, which, I mean, it's been kind of cooking and a lot of bug fixing. It is not an easy thing. Huge props to the split view team. They are, having to change one of the fundamental assumptions of the browser, which is like there's a fundamental assumption in a lot of our browser code. There was a fundamental assumption that only one content area in the main, not including the sidebar, but only one browser tab is visible at one time, and we are breaking that assumption. Probably the biggest break in assumptions since tabs were introduced. And so there was a lot of, like a long tail of bugs that the SplitView team have had to deal with. So kudos to the SplitView team. And then I started tinkering with the hole punching Expo thing, which has shipped. We have a version of the Expo stuff that went out. It's not something that people who use Firefox probably need to care about, but the people who work on it, it makes it really more. It makes it certainly easier to contribute components to NewTab that are reusable without having to work on NewTab. So that's nice. And then on November 5th was episode 419, and we were talking about cleaning up the handoff search bar. Now this is very interesting. Line 19, get rid of non-handoff support. I actually did, I think, some of this during the episode. We ended up reverting this. So it turns out that there are people who use the we haven't had a lot of non-handoff mode in the NewTab has not been enabled by default in years and years and years and years. And it's not one that was being tested, and it was not one that we were supplying fixes for. We didn't even realize that people were using it. We saw that there was a little bit of traffic coming through telemetry of people using it, like it was like 0.3% of searches. And so we turned it off, not realizing that some people were using the non-handoff mode for accessibility reasons, and that they'd been passing around the about config pref to turn this mode on in kind of organically. So this like little organic community had developed that was relying on non-handoff mode, and we just didn't know this. And so we got rid of non-handoff support and like broke search on NewTab for a small but passionate and an important user base. Like, you can't just break accessibility stuff. Now there are some people who are using it just because they don't like the handoff experience. I won't lie, I also don't love the handoff experience. We're attempting to replace the handoff experience with an inline search that actually does search in here, but that's going to take a little while. And in fact, part of this cleanup was so that we could get ready for that work from the search team, is to sort of like plow the land. So I got rid of and cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff to sort of clear the land for them to land the better experience. But in doing so, we broke non-handoff mode for that small set of users. We have since changed tack. You know, we got a lot of signal through various channels, Connect, Reddit, Bugzilla. We got very clear signals that people were using this. And it wasn't just that they were like annoyed by change. Some of them were annoyed by change. More importantly, there were some people who are really relying on it for accessibility reasons. And so we made the decision to revert this. But what's interesting about that reversion is that we were able to, because of the hole punching mechanism, we were able to do this reversion completely outside of the NewTab code base. I know the people who rely on this probably don't care about the specifics about how it worked, but it kind of proved the point that the hole punching, or what we call Expo componentization, works, where we were able to revert the change, get it uplifted to a dot release, and not have to change anything about NewTab at all, which is like a success scenario. Because NewTab kind of operates on a different cadence with train hopping and stuff. So the fact that we were able to do that is good, and that fix to revert this change and re-enable this capability, or not re-enable it, but like make it available for people to opt in via the about config flag as usual, that went out in the dot release that went out yesterday. So that's 148.0.2, I believe. And you can see it in the release notes for 148.0.2. Oh, no, right. Sorry, that's not the release notes. Where are the release notes? Release notes here. 148.0.2. Here are the release notes. Fixed an issue where searches entered in the Firefox home search field were incorrectly redirected to the address bar for some users who had disabled search handoff behavior via advanced settings. Top line fix. But there were a bunch of other fixes as well that we got into this dot release. So there you go. You saw me make a mistake on the stream, and we fixed it. And then we made content search a completely self-contained custom element that we were able to update and give back the non-handoff capability. Right. And someone was asking about adding JSX support for SearchFox. Let's move on. Episode 420, November 19th, 2025. Looks right. I was going forward with the handoff bar stuff and removing the trending searches code and more cleanup inside of new tab proper, because we didn't need all of our like styling because it was all being self-contained, which is nice. So that's good. 421 was episode 421 was on November 26th. Yes. And we got our component up for review, and then we built out the registry to use this component, and then I was traveling. Okay, and that's it. I like it. Let's approve and get these merged in. Danny Colin writes, I wonder if more things Firefox could benefit from train hopping release cycle. I mean, Chrome just announced a release cycle of 2 weeks, but I feel a more granular approach would be better. That's tricky. It's tricky. When you have multiple things in the browser updating independently of one another, you need to make sure that those things are fairly isolated with well-defined borders or well-defined APIs between them. And new tab is like a perfect fit for that sort of thing, because new tab is mostly constrained to one area, the new tab page. Like all of the code just kind of like takes care of this. It doesn't have its tendrils elsewhere. Whereas things like the tab strip or the toolbar has logic in it that's kind of like spread out. And so having the toolbar code update out of band from the rest of the browser carries a higher degree of risk. Is it possible? Like, I've also heard about Chrome switching to a 2-week release cycle. Very interesting. And it's possible that we may find more ways of shipping quickly, more efficiently, without undue process burden and quality problems. Those are the things that we need to worry about, is like, how much does this increase the process burden, and is it worth the cost, and how much does it impact, if anything, the quality? Does it negatively impact it? Does it positively impact it? The Firefox for iOS team, just so you know, they do because they don't use Gecko. They like every other iOS browser, they wrap WebKit. And so they're able to sort of like, they have their own release cadence, and they switched to a 2-week release cadence. And their experience, as I understand it, was that it actually caused the overall quality to go up because fewer things needed to be uplifted. Uplifts incur risk, and when you don't do as many uplifts, more things go through the normal release cycle, and in theory, you can catch things more quickly, and things don't need to get rushed in. And so it's possible that we may make some adjustments to our release cycle. Crushed Optimist says, Firefox will lose the higher release number to Chrome from it. Who cares? Who cares? That doesn't, the major release number does not matter. All right, so new episodes. Episode 423 has number 420 on the title on YouTube. Uh-oh, did I fix that? Let me see if I need to fix that. Let me switch over to YouTube for a second. One moment. As usual, Smurfy is keeping his eye out. Let's see here. Playlist, Joy of Coding, episode 423. Episode 423. No, I think I fixed it because episode 4... Wait, no. Episode 423. 406. It's unlisted. Did I never post it? Episode 423. Where is it? It's not there. Okay, so I have a to-do here. I need to post episode 423. Let me add that to my to-do list. To-do. Post episode 423 to YouTube. It's missing. Whoopsie daisy. Good catch, Smurf D. Craig says, I see this as 420, but also another 420. Could this be 423? What's the agenda? 420. Let's see what I say at the top of the episode. Concoction. I had a beard. Before live hack, Joy of Coding. Hello, and welcome to episode 420 of The Joy of Coding. Ah, it's episode 420. But there's another 420? I swear it's not a pot joke. Joy of Coding. So here's the other one. Is this 423? Continue.
Hello, and welcome to episode 384 of The Joy of Coding.
No, this is 384. That's completely wrong.
We're going to be live hacking on some Fire 4 of The Joy of Coding. Hello, and welcome to episode 384 of The Joy...
384? What's going on here? Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Okay, 384. 384. So I gotta dig out the old link here. 384. That's all wrong. Why? But why? Why? Well, what a mess. What a mess, eh? Well, sorry about that, gang. Let's keep going. So, episode 422, December 10th. Was it December 10th? December 10th. I've got December 11th here. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong year. December 10th, 422. There is no spoon. Very good. December 10th, 422. Keanu Kud, no spoon. And private browsing. We were talking about the new private browsing look. We were testing, writing tests for the hole punchy thing. Yeah, very good. And I'm pretty sure Nightly never did really get the updated look and feel. I think it got turned on by default on release. If you take a look at private browsing in Nightly, it's off by, the new look and feel is off by default. If you turn it on in release, if you open a private browsing window, it's on in release, but it's not been turned on in Nightly. What's going on? And I probably talked about what the deal was, and I gave some sense. If you're curious, go watch that episode 422. So that's fine. Episode 423, December 17th. Yeah. Welcome to the special holiday episode. And this is where we started working on the thing to make the little search engine. And that was the last episode of the year, special holiday episode. And now we get into 2026, January 7th. Very good, 424. And Air Mozilla transcript tool. And I built it out, but we were plan for suppressing stories and top sites during the first 48 hours, which we worked on and we built out, and that shipped. That experiment shipped. So that's good. Episode 425, January 14th. Got a little kung fu here. January 14th. And I answered a question about containers and stuff. Updated the feedback form to remove the entry about Mercurial. RIP, pour one out for Mercurial. And I worked on landing this patch to fix the zoom stuff. I wonder if that went out in release already. Did that get... It went out in 149, which is in beta. Okay, and I kept working on the 48-hour window mechanism. This looks great. Approve. Submit. Review. Crushed Optimus asks, is there a vague schedule for when the Firefox Nova redesign will ship? I don't think we've committed to one just yet, but I know that the new tab team has started working on some bits and pieces, some very sort of smaller parts, like changing some layout things in new tab that may actually ship in advance of the rest of the browser. So stay tuned, stay tuned. I think there'll be a clearer sense of the timeline over the coming weeks. You know what? We've already burned like 30 minutes. I think I'm going to pause there, and we can actually move on to working on some stuff. I did want to briefly talk about the local search engine thing. So what we found out talking to the folks who run Air Mozilla is that there are a bunch of videos on Air Mozilla from like back in the day, particularly from the old version of Air Mozilla that had been transferred over to the new Air Mozilla, but the permissions are all wrong on them, and there's not a great way of automatically updating all of them to the right permissions, and so it has to be done manually. And so like we can't seem, the API doesn't allow us to write a script to do it, which is terrible. Maybe if we were feeling really clever, we could do a Selenium thing, but or a browser automation thing. But instead, the Air Mozilla team has taken it upon themselves to like manually update each one bit by bit. And I need to sort of ask where they're at because it's been a couple weeks, but slowly but surely those are being transitioned. It's a real pain in the butt. Make sure your APIs are comprehensive. All right. So what are we working on today? Actually, before we do that, let me get fetch from the pull requests. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to rebase, add more transcripts. Even more transcripts, and then I'm going to rebase. Oh, and what's JJ show ZP? What is that? Fixed. Okay. JJ describe ZP. Fix the 423 agenda. I don't know what I was doing. But we are going to rebase ZP all the way to X onto main, or sorry, master? I still call master. Why doesn't it like it? Oh, dest. No? Unexpected argument. ZP to X. ZP. Oh, because I needed supply -R. So -D was right. And that worked. And now I think I can go JJ bookmark move master RW. No? JJ bookmark move from to. Okay. So JJ bookmark move master to W. There we go. And now JJ get push, I believe. Yay! I should probably change it to being main. I think main is what most people call their main branches now. All right. So let's stop talking about the episode guide and let's talk about the remote renderer instead. I go back and watch the last 2 or 3 episodes to get a sense of what the remote renderer is, but I did want to demo what I've got so far. Let's see. So yeah, this is the remote renderer, and how do I best demo this? I'm going to get rid of... actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call reset the cache. So it clears the renderer. And so we are using the fallback renderer as the one that is bundled in with the browser with this hash. And then if I tell it, hey, I need you to go check remote settings, it'll go and update it. And if I reload, we'll go get the remote one, which has the same hash, but didn't have to, but has the, this is the one that's on remote settings. So that's good. And that's now held in the cache, in the disk cache at these sort of special addresses, Moz, new tab, remote, renderer, and for the manifest, the script and styles are being held in the cache. So that's good. There were a couple things I wanted to do. That probably doesn't seem that impressive or interesting, but it's a. Let me show you what's going on. Like we're having to do a bunch of work to both read and write into the renderer, or sorry, from the networking cache, and we added the special protocol to allow the script to be pulled from the cache and loaded like this. And what I want to do now, there are a couple things I want to do. Here's my to-do list for the episode. So that's separate from the post-episode to-do list. Is I want to add a deferred task mechanism to update from remote settings. I want to add use services.version comparator compare version numbers to always ensure that the highest version number wins between bundled and cached renderer. And maybe we'll do that first. Let's do that first. Okay, because right now I'm just doing like very, very basic version equality checks, and that's not good enough. The bundled version, we may ship a bundled version that's higher than the one that's in the cache, and if that's the case, the bundled version should win, and we should blow away the cache. So here's where I wanted to check. If services dot vc dot compare, and the version comparator API or method, as I have version comparator, takes compare string A and string B. We'll pass it lazy.remote renderer version. We'll pass it bundled version. And remote renderer version is the second argument. And if the bundled version A is less than or equal to B, let's just use the bundled version. So only if it's greater than 0 do we want to do these things. So let's add a comment here. It's possible that the bundled version is greater than what's already in the cache, in which case we don't want to do any of these things and fall through to using the bundled version. Here, so reset cache prefs just resets the prefs. We should probably doom the old cache as well. If an entry doesn't exist. should do is instead of reset cache prefs, because reset cache does some of the same work. Where are the cache prefs? So this is out of date, actually. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have reset cache take an argument param bool doom entries, which defaults to false. True to also doom any entries that map to the currently cached renderer version at shutdown. Doom entries equals false. So then we can get rid of reset cache prefs. Prefs are clear. I think here we do want to doom them. Is there any place where we wouldn't want to doom them, actually? We're using the bundled version. I think we'd always want to do it, actually, in all those other cases. So let me just get rid of all of that. And just have all of the places where we're calling... Let me back up here. We need to clear those prefs. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to cut it right out. We're going to put that there. And all of these places now refer to things that don't prefs. Let's just replace all of those. So check, replace, renderer, make sure the renderer cache is clear. This. Now, does anything actually ever await this thing? Because like Doom cache entry on shutdown, I don't think is async anymore. So this doesn't need to be async. We can just do each of these. Reset cache. If we happen to have a cached renderer, blow it away. Remote renderer version is higher, attempting to use it. Version. Okay. I'm also seeing here that this should probably return an NSI URI instead. Returns cache URI. Constructs an NSI URI for specific resource type and version. Version identifier. Constructed NSI URI. Return services IO new URI. And then this can just be. This is missing a returns value. Constructed SI URI for the manifest. Constructed SI URI for the script. And constructed NSI for the renderer styles for the renderer script. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so that's simplified. Reset cache. Let's make sure our tests still run. Test browser extensions, new tab, test XPC shell, test remote renderer. Good, all good. So we're doing version compare. Where else did I want to do a version compare? Probably not just on checking, but also on querying. So like update from remote settings. There's a maybe revalidate, get expect. Okay, so here we want to do it. Not just current version is not equal. We're going to say if services VC compare current version to the latest version. If the latest version is less than 0, then A is less than B. Then we'll fetch it, and then we'll attempt to update it. Is there any other places where we do like simple version comparing? I don't think so. I think those are the only two I was aware of. So let's go ahead and run our tests again. Do a manual check, and then move on to the next thing, which is the deferred task. Remote render pump in assign 161. We had a failure. Oh, this was happening intermittently for me. So I've got it now, and I want to figure out what's going on here. Must have a source and a callback when calling pump input stream to string on remote renderer 644. So I think there's a race here. Must have a source and a callback. NS illegal value must have a source and a callback. What is saying that? And netutil, that will be true if there's no source in async fetch. Input stream, I am definitely passing a callback, so pump input stream to string must be null. And I'm getting that from the assign call on line 161. From the manifest stream, So get cached entry stream is returning null. Okay, so if we can't find it, we'll return null. So I need to if not manifest stream manifest stream, then we do these things. Is that else console or lazy.log console warn manifest stream could not be fetched, falling back to bundled renderer. Unnecessary else after a return. Oh, I guess so, yeah. Otherwise, getting the manifest stream failed. Get cached entry stream. Is there any way I can make that more robust? We go open cache entry, open complete only. I wonder if that doesn't need to be open complete only, actually, because if it's still being it's still being written to. Only open an existing entry. Don't create a new one. It's only for reading. Open cache entry. Do we ever use it for writing? When do we write? Write cache entry. Okay, so here we can do open read only instead. Open read only. Read only. Don't only open an existing entry. So if a new one, if is new or it failed, we resolve with null. Okay. And cache entry check. What is that for? Callback to perform validity checks for the entry should be used. Calling before on entry available callback depending on the result. It may be called more than one time. And we return state of the entry, one of these. Entry wanted, the consumer is interested in the entry. Recheck after write finish. The consumer cannot use the entry while data is still being written and wants to check it again after the current write is finished. This actually prevents concurrent read write and is used with non-resumable HTTP responses. Okay, let's try that. Okay, and we'll run it with verify just in case, just to make sure that we haven't just missed out on a race. And then I think we can call our version stuff done. The next thing I want to do is the deferred task. So here we're going to, in our remote renderer, we're going to set up a deferred task. And so that means I have to bring it in. Deferred task. Resource, GRE modules, deferred task. If you're not familiar with deferred task, it's it can be used for debouncing or coalescing things that may occur in rapid succession. into a single handler, something that only occurs once. So here is like on a sign is probably when we'd want to like arm it. Async assign. Do I actually do anything, any awaiting here? I do await here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, in the constructor, set up my deferred task. This dot, I'm going to call it refresh task equal lazy.deferred task. And I've used one of these before in backup service. Deferred task. Regeneration. I'll call it refresh debouncer. Refresh debouncer. And then I'll say this dot maybe revalidate, or maybe I'll call this a revalidate debouncer, and I'll call this the revalidation debounce rate. And the revalidation debounce rate, let's have it be, I'm just gonna pick a number out of the air, 500 in milliseconds. And we'll have this disarm arm. So we'll debounce must be declared. Date debouncer equals null. To do document. And then maybe revalidate. You know what we might want to do is use some locks here. Because I did that in the backup service and it worked out pretty well. Locks.request. And then we'll give it our lock name, const well, do we want it to lock? We're gonna get the version here and we're gonna hold on to it. In the event that the version gets bumped while we're awaiting, say here or here, that's actually okay because we'll still have the streams around. We won't blow them away until we close. So we're maybe okay. We don't have to lock. And maybe this is all we need. Let's see what happens. So we're bundled. Bundled. Why aren't we being queued? Mounting renderer. Remote renderer. Maybe revalidate. So current version. Dash alpha. Latest version. Is the current version. Yeah. And we're going to update from remote settings. So why aren't we using the actual version? Did we screw something up in the assignment here? Evaluating. Oh. Compare. If the bundled version is the... Does it think that the bundled version is... Did I get my logic wrong here? And I should use version, not here. And continue. (000) alpha versus 000, and services VC compare 000 alpha versus 000 returns -1, meaning A is less than B, which is what we wanted. I've got the logic flipped here. So the bundled, if the bundled version is less than 0, that means that the bundled version is less than the version. Okay, so that explains that, and should be something that we should write a test for, because clearly our test did not catch that. Using the remote version. Great. Now let's blow away the cache. Bundled version. And now we're using the remote version. Great. Great, 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 great. Let's blow it away again. Bundled version, remote version. I love it. Okay, so let's merge those changes into my patch. I have to do that to do. We debounce renderer requests by this amount before we attempt to a refresh, before we attempt a refresh from remote settings. Okay. And then let's see, to-do document. A deferred task to debounce revalidating against remote settings to see if we should, if there is a new version to cache and serve. Type deferred task or null. Are there any other to-dos in here? No. Okay. Squash. Okay, now I would like a test for that. Test remote renderer. We should ensure test highest version wins. Or let's say higher bundled version. Remote renderer should prefer a higher bundled version to prefer the bundled version when its version number is higher than the cache. Okay. Make this easier by putting a static get bundled version. Type string the current bundled version of the renderer exposed as a static getter for easier mocking out, easier stubbing out in tests. Do not read this constant directly. This bundled version constant directly. Use the static getter on remote renderer instead, so that the bundled version number can be stubbed out in tests. Okay, and then we're going to do all of our version checks. Bundled version. Okay, and so now we go back to our test. Put this side by side with remote renderer so it's easier. We're going to create a sandbox. We'll make sure that we restore it when we're done. And then we are going to create a renderer. We're going to stub out renderer bundled version dot get, and that returns, we're going to return a high version 5.100.0.0 or 1.0.0, and then we're going to see. We want to check against the remote renderer version. So we're going to pretend that the cached version, we're going to set a pref. So if we're going to set that, we're going to not clear user pref, reset cache. We'll call reset cache. We're going to go services prefs set char pref. Actually, we can probably have a nice utility method here. Function set cached version pref version services prefs set char pref, and then the pref is this version, so that needs documentation. And then 0.1.0, or how about 1.0.1, 1.0.0, renderer assign, let renderer config equals await. Assert okay renderer dot is app props should fall back to bundled version, should use the bundled version. Bundled version when cache has a lower version number. I guess that's a result. I guess we should also make sure that the reason that it fails is it's because of this. It doesn't attempt to use it. We shouldn't even attempt to read from the manifest entry URI. So sandbox stub renderer make script entry URI make style entry URI. We're going to stub those out. Assert okay renderer dot make manifest not called should never have evaluated a cached renderer. And then we'll use, all right, let's run that. Can't stub a non-existent owned property. Oh, because it's not. It's on the class. It's a static property. So how did I do this for backup? Stub backup version. What else? What did we stub? Static get backup dir name, for example. Is there a different one that I may have? Static archive template, maybe? Pretty sure I can override these. I just have to remember how. Static. Where's the version number? Schema version. Did I ever? Sign-on stub static getter. I guess maybe I want to stub it out on the prototype. Is that it? No. The constructor? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And then we make sure that we restore. So we change the base class back. Should use cached version before reset. Failed. Is that another intermittent? Test on line 160. No, okay, so we've introduced a new failure. Line 160. Reset cache should clear prefs and doom the cache entries. Oh, okay. Yes, they should. That's before we reset. Update from remote settings. Version pref, get char pref. Should be the test version. We need to make sure that the cached version is less than the test version. Test version 1. So we're going to say test version is going to be 1.0.1. .0.1. In fact, let's do this. Test version. And then const test bundled version equals 1.0.0. So then on line 160, we'll do the same thing we did here where we set up the bundled version to be less. Render sandbox equal sign on create sandbox test bundled version. Sandbox restore. Good. So that feels pretty good. I'm gonna want to update this test. I think I'm gonna add some documentation here. What was 222? Utility function to poke a fake renderer version into prefs to pretend like it's the current available one. Does not write anything, does not actually anything into the cache. Okay. And then string to array buffer, yeah. Converts a string into an array buffer to be streamed into array buffer that can be streamed as an NSI input stream. String turns array buffer. And that's used here. Okay, let's get those in to the latest version. else do I want to do here before I put these up for review? I guess make sure that the deferred task is armed when we call assign. Is there a way I can check to see armed? Is armed? Is armed. Okay. I don't necessarily want to I don't want to expose the deferred task if I don't need to. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put another static get revalidation rebounce rate ms return 500. Let's run requests from remote settings exposed as a static getter for easier stubbing out in tests. We'll use remote render.that. And then what we'll do is something similar to this. We're just going to test that the deferred task is armed. Remote renderer should attempt to refresh, to revalidate after calling assign. So none of this matters. None of that matters. And we will say sandbox.stub renderer maybe revalidate. Assert OK. Await browser test util. Oh, we don't have that. Await. Do we have wait for condition in test utils? Yes. Okay. Test utils. Wait for condition. Renderer dot maybe revalidate return was called. Should call maybe revalidate after assign. And the thing I want to stub out was the revalidation debounce rate. We're going to make it much shorter. Get return 0. Is test util something I have to bring in? Probably, yeah. Okay. What? I have it right here. All right, well, try running it. Just try it. It's not working. It's going wrong. Maybe revalidate's not being called. So we call assign. We disarm, disarm, and then arm. Revalidate the debouncer. Oh, you know what? I think I have to do this stubbing before I construct it. Remote renderer. Maybe that's what I should be doing instead of... constructor. Okay. What's going on here? Remote renderer validation debounce rate. Log console.log revalidation debounce rate. Remote renderer revalidation debounce rate. Lazy log console.log calling maybe revalidate. I don't have to build, do I? What's going on here? Okay, it's 2:30. I think I'm gonna call it in a sec here. Huh. What's going wrong? Lazy log console debug. Where's the logging happening? Am I not configured to log actually? Initializing. Remote renderer. Where is XPC shell? Test remote renderer. Turn on. The logging. True. Calling maybe revalidate. Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? I don't stub it in time. I don't stub it in time. Remote renderer dot prototype. We stub this on the prototype so that we can set up our stub before the deferred task grabs a reference to maybe revalidate in the constructor. All right. No? Not good enough? Remote renderer.prototype. If I've got a class, maybe revalidate was called. Let's do one last thing, and then I'm going to call it. Let's run this. Come on. And then we're going to inspect. Go ahead. What? Are we not? Why didn't we? What? What? Okay, hold up, hold up. Let's try that again. What? What? It's my Professor Frink. Or Professor Frink? Professor Farnsworth? Oh, geez, I've forgotten. What's his name? Okay, start in here. Okay. Sandbox stub. Create a new remote renderer. Now, if I call renderer dot maybe revalidate, what is it? And does it have a was called on it? It does not. So that's our problem. Sandbox stub renderer maybe revalidate. It's already wrapped. It says called once. Oh, it's because there's no such thing as was called on it. Called once. How about that? Frink is Simpsons. You're right. It's Farnsworth. Good call. Good. All right. So, was called. It's not even a thing. Called once. All right. Run the whole suite. Yeah, Frink is like, that guy. Not my best impression. Isn't it obvious? You are. These are my, hey, Leela. That's my Fry impression. Hey, Leela. All right. I think I'm done here. I've got some tests now. I'm going to get rid of some of that extraneous logging now. Don't actually need that here or here. I'm actually curious to know whether or not I can get away with... Was I wrong before? Maybe I can just do this. Yeah, okay. So, I don't need to do anything special there. We do this on the static, we override this first so that, because this static getter is read on remote renderer construction to set up the deferred task delay. I actually don't think we need to reset the cache here either, because maybe revalidate won't actually be called. All right. So go ahead and squash that in, and I'm going to call it there. Hey, I hope that was interesting. Thank you so much for watching episode 432 of The Joy of Coding. Did that. I'm going to figure out where episode 423 went. I'll try and get that uploaded later today. Sorry about that. Special shout out to Smurf D, who contributed so much, has contributed so much to The Joy of Coding episode guide. We've got the 2026 episodes starting to show up now. That's nice. 2025 is all closed out. And hopefully we can get the rest of the episodes in next week, the other pull requests. So shout out to Smurf D. What a cool cat. And we'll go ahead and squash these in. Hey, yeah, thanks for watching. let me know what you thought of the stream. There's a link at the end of the agenda here to rate this episode. I'll also drop a link there in the chat in case you want to click on it there. Link to rate this episode. Yeah, I'm gonna have another PR. Someone's probably got some fixes that they've noticed now that I've focused a little bit on the episode guide. Send them my way. I'm a little slow. I don't. This is not my highest priority is the episode guide, but I'll do my best. But let me know what you thought of the episode. What'd you like? What'd you not like? Is there something you want me to do more of? Something you want me to do less of? Do you have any questions? Do you want me to try looking at something else? I don't know. Send me everything. I read everything that comes in. Just try and be friendly, and yeah, let me know what you thought. With that, I'm gonna call it there. Thanks again, everyone, for watching episode 432 of The Joy of Coding. I'm Mike Conley. I will see you hopefully next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.